Hi guys, so welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about a topic that maybe some people can relate to, maybe some won't, but the topic is about a spiritual awakening. So I don't really have much knowledge on it. All I can speak about is my experience, and maybe someone out there also may have experienced something similar and also was confused to what is happening. Okay, so what initially I think happened to me is that, okay, let's just take it way back. More than anything, I think my whole life I kind of knew that I was a bit different than everyone else, I think I was always just so sensitive. And I finally found what the word was. Okay, so I'm an empath. So I can actually feel other people's energy or emotions or vibe or whatever you call it, but I can kind of tap into it. And more than anything, I don't think people realize it, but I've also noticed that they end up like telling me their things, and whenever problems or whatever they tell me, I feel it like it's me. Like I can literally put myself into their shoes. Like I can feel that when they're sad, their sadness can become my sadness. So it's something that I always knew, but I thought everyone could do it, or it's just a natural thing. But the older I got, the more I realized that, hey, it's a bit weird. Like I'll be in a taxi with a stranger and they'll pour out their soul to me, and I will just feel it. I will feel it, and sometimes it works in a sense that I can give them advice because it's like it's me that's in the situation. Like, oh, okay, do this, do that. So I kind of realized that I was an empath the more I researched about it. And more than anything, I feel like I've always been different. Just the way that I used to think about things, the way that I viewed life, it wasn't of like typical kids growing up and teenagers, but I always try to fit in because that's what you want to do. But the older I got, I realized, what, I need to stand in my truth, and be real. So something I also used to realize is that even in relationships, I've always attracted spiritual men, which probably made me realize that, hey, you're a spiritual woman as well, because you attract what you are. But I didn't really realize it until I had like a spiritual awakening. So yeah, I always used to attract spiritual men, like in some type of form, like healers, even if they're not practicing it, or even if they don't realize it. But sometimes I'll be like, oh. And more than anything, something that also used to make me realize that, hey, maybe I also have some type of ability or some type of spiritual inclination, is that every partner that I would have been with, I've always dreamt of someone in their family that's deceased. So I'll probably dream that they're walking around or they're talking to that person. I'm like, hey, I saw you and had a dream that you were talking to some tall guy, he's this and that, and like, that's actually my deceased father or uncle. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's something that made me kind of also question, okay, I'm attracting what I am, so you attract what you are. So I kind of had the sense, but more than anything, I was like, okay, pass it by. So more than anything, the one thing that kind of woke me up is that I started seeing. Oh, and also I used to have very weird dreams. I think I still do. I do have very odd dreams, or dreams that sometimes would happen, and other times it would, have a different meaning, but it would be displayed somehow in reality, but I would have dreamt it in a different form or way. So I do know that I've always been sort of spiritually inclined. So the number one thing that kind of woke me up is that I started seeing numbers. So I started seeing a number sequence 1111. I saw it the first time in my clock, my phone, and I'm like, okay. I didn't pay attention to it. I only really, really paid attention to it like on the fourth day. I'm like, I can't keep checking the clock at this time. This is a bit weird. And I ask people around, you don't know what's happening. So I'll post on my status like, hey, I keep seeing 1111. What does it mean? And I had one friend that told me, it means abundance and this and that. I'm like, okay, oh, cool. So I kept seeing like, okay, abundance, this and that. But it just kept happening to the point where I was seeing it in number plates as well. I was seeing it in like phone numbers. It just started getting more intense. And then I researched a bit, and it mentioned something about twin flames. another situation happened. This for another video. This is just for a spiritual awakening, but I will do a video that's about twin flames, whoever is interested in knowing about it and my experience on what it is. And yeah, it's a long story, but it's for the next video. Let's continue. So then I started seeing this number sequence, 222. I was seeing it in the time, same with the numbers, number plates, and I'm like, okay, this is a bit weird. Then I started seeing 333. Then I started seeing 444. Then I started seeing 555. And I'm like, okay, I need to actually start Googling this. I need to start figuring out what is happening, because this is too much. It's too weird to be a coincidence. So when I went into YouTube, I found, the first video I actually found was a video by Ralph Smart about 111, and about it's a spiritual awakening. And the more that I looked into the video, like it just made sense to me, so just how I wasn't even looking at the world anymore of how it was. Like I was like, my reality kind of started shutting down. Like things that I thought I knew about the world were just not what it was seeming, and yeah, so I started doing a bit of more research on spirituality and the number sequencing and how it has different meanings. I'm still learning more than anything, but now I'm putting more effort and more interest because I am seeing it a lot more. And then after I started actually figuring out what 111 was meaning, that it's a spiritual awakening or a twin flame, it's a master number, so you're being contacted in the spiritual world. And I should have been more scared, but I was like, okay, you know what, let's just go with the flow. And I started even getting more number sequencings, like 1010, 0909, 1313, and more than anything, I was just realizing that it's just more than anything like guidance, spiritual guidance. So if anyone also is experiencing it, maybe you can let me know on the comment section what or how you first found out, and did you have any frightening aspects about it, and maybe what your views are. But more than anything, I'm realizing that there's a lot of people out there that are also experiencing it. So one, I'm not crazy, so it made me feel a whole lot better that hey, I'm not mad. And yeah, it's more than anything, I feel like it is a blessing. And every time I do see these sequencing numbers, I feel like kind of like a calm state, knowing that I'm guided somehow, and tapping into who I am more than anything. So yeah, so that was just my short video on what I experienced in my spiritual awakening. It actually does get deeper, but it's for another video. So yeah, anyone else who's seeing number repetitions, what was your experience? Did you have anything deeper than that? How did it come about? Have you been contacted? How are your dreams? Because I realized that everything actually is connected and everything is happening for a reason. So if you are seeing it, just, I feel like more than anything, count your lucky stars. It's a blessing. And yeah, peace.